Hi friends, I have this story called Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree. Can you see what's the matter with that tree there? Something doesn't look quite right. The author is Robert Barry, and I believe the illustrator is also Robert Barry. So let's see what happens to this Christmas tree. Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree came by special delivery, full and fresh and glistening green, the biggest tree he had ever seen. He dashed downstairs to open the door. This was the moment he'd waited for. "A magnificent tree! Splendid!" he cried. "Please, sir, won't you carry it right inside? I think it might look best this year, right in the parlor corner here." That is a big tree he's bringing in. But once the tree stood in its place, Mr. Willoughby made a terrible face. The tree touched the ceiling, then bent like a bow. "Oh, heavens," he gasped. "Something must go." And what's he going to do? How's he going to make it fit? Baxter the butler was called on in haste to chop off the top, though it seemed quite a waste. "That's great," Mr. Willoughby cried with glee. "Now we can start to trim my tree." When the trimming was well underway, the top was placed on a silver tray. Baxter said, "I know just who'd be delighted with this Christmas tree." So it was presented to Miss Adelaide, Mr. Willoughby's upstairs maid. I think this story takes place long ago. Won't this tree be a pretty sight when I have trimmed it later tonight? But the top, oh dear, I'm afraid will have to be cut, sighed Miss Adelaide. And so with the scissors sharp and long, she snipped off the top while she hummed a song. The top was set out the very next day in back of the home to be thrown away. Oh no. That little treetop caught the eye of Tim the gardener passing by. He certainly was not about to see that little tree thrown out. He hurried home straight away to see what Mrs. Tim would say. Fa la 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 la, surprise, surprise! His wife could not believe her eyes. "But our house," she said, "is so snug and small, I do not believe we need it all." And before Tim had a chance to shout, she cut the top and threw it out. That top keeps getting cut off. Barnaby Bear was padding by. It almost hit him in the eye. Now who would throw a tree away so very close to Christmas Day? "I'll take it home, that's what I'll do. Look, Mama Bear, I've a present for you." "Isn't it a pretty tree?" yawned Barnaby quite drowsily. But Little Bear, standing off far, cried out, "That tree won't hold a star." Barnaby said, "Let's cut a hunk off the bottom here at the trunk." But Mama Bear just shook her head and sliced the treetop off instead. They cut the top off again. "Golly by jolly," Barnaby said with a kick. "Mama, that surely is just the right trick. Let's trim it with bells and honey rings, some berries and tinsel and popcorn on strings." Mama said, "Trim it just as you like. I've got to tidy up for the night. This top won't be needed anymore. I'll put it just outside the door." And there she goes, walking it just outside the door. Later on that frosty night, Frisky Fox came into sight. He spied the treetop, rubbed his chin, opened his sack, and stuffed the top in. He scampered home and jumped his gate. This Christmas present just couldn't wait. "It's even better than mincemeat pie," said Mrs. Fox with a happy sigh. Then the foxes saw that the Christmas prize was just a wee bit oversized. And look at that, the top is still not fitting. "There, my dears, don't you worry. I'll fix this top now in a hurry." And what does she do down here? She cuts the top off again. Benjamin Rabbit found it then, just outside the fox's den. It seems, he thought, most certainly Santa left that for my family. Look, he cried, I see the tree I found. With that he called his family round. Then there was a merrymaking, rollicking, frolicking, carrot-shaking celebration around the tree. All were as happy as rabbits can be. Benjamin Rabbit, with his own hand, sliced a carrot and made a stand. Now let's see how this will look in our little chimney nook. But right away the children cried, look, it's leaning off to one side. And look right there, it still doesn't fit. It's too tall, that's all, said Mrs. Rabbit. And as though it were a summer carrot, she gave it a chop and threw away the top. Oh my goodness, what animal do we have here? Then Mistletoe Mouse just happened to see that tiny tip of a Christmas tree. He pulled it through the snow and ice. Up some stairs he fell down twice. At last he reached his cozy home. It's just the right size, said Mrs. Mouse. Then at the top, if you please, let's put a star made out of cheese. Oh, wasn't it grand to have a tree exactly like Mr. Willowby? And that is the end, boys and girls. That tree was shared by many, many animals and people. That was great. He looks very tired now, too, from decorating his tree. The end.